Yo, what's going on, sexy YouTube individuals and Dragon Ball Z enthusiasts out there? This is your boy RBG coming in with a special guest.
What's up? It's Rhymestyle.
Yes, so today we got a dual com, and today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Xenoverse and the similarities and correlation that it's going to have to Dragon Ball Online. We wanted to go ahead and get this chit chat going because it's been a long time coming. I've been doing other shit, like telling my boy that I was going to hit him up and hit you guys with a dual commentary because it's been a long time coming. But we finally got something. I'm in the building, got a lot of time on my hand, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from me and Rhymestyle and some other guests. So, man, what you got going, brother?
So everybody's kind of talked about this for the past couple months since Xenoverse was first announced that there's a lot of similarities between Dragon Ball Online and Dragon Ball Xenoverse. But even this far down, we're like, 3 months away from the release of the game. A lot of people still don't understand that most of Dragon Ball Xenoverse has literally been plucked away from online. And I'm talking about everything. Towa Mira, the main villains of Xenoverse, came from Dragon Ball Online. The whole future time travel, time breakers thing came from Dragon Ball Online. Matter of fact, in Dragon Ball Online, it was called Time Breakers. And what it was is they broke the timeline so they can basically ruin. And I don't know what the whole goal was there because I didn't look completely into it. But pretty much everything from Dragon Ball Online has been moved over here to Dragon Ball Xenoverse. That's why, for example, in the past 2 weeks, I made breakdowns of how I believe the races are going to work. Because in Dragon Ball Online, they only had like the fat Majin Buu race, and then you can be the male and female, just like in Xenoverse. But if you transform, it could be Kid Buu. And that's why I predicted that the same thing's going to happen in Xenoverse as well, which we haven't confirmed yet. But when I get this confirmed, that's another video about down the line. But essentially, what we want to break down today is telling everybody that everything you see in online is basically in Xenoverse, and it's essentially the same game. That's where the inspiration came from, and then also it's going to give us kind of a chance of what we can predict in the final version of the game.
Exactly.
So, what you got?
Figuring that Dragon Ball Online was a good experience that was kind of short-lived and didn't really get to live up to its full potential, there might be some things that we didn't get a chance to see up in Dragon Ball Online that we might see up in Xenoverse. So the possibilities are pretty much endless with that universe because Dragon Ball Online pretty much fleshed out a universe that we didn't get to see, not only with the characters, but the actual, just DBZ universe in all. You got to see...
Let's actually break that down. Let's break that down real fast. So, Dragon Ball Online takes place 216 years after Z ends. 216 years. And a lot of you guys, so a couple days ago I made a video telling you guys that humans might go Super Saiyan, and a lot of you guys were thrown off by that. It's like, why are humans going Super Saiyan in Xenoverse? Well, they're not, but they might, because that's what Dragon Ball Online did. And the reason why is because a lot of new races were introduced because of the Z Warriors directly over the course of 216 years. Do you want to tell the Majin Buu story? Because this is a really funny one.
Yes, the Majin Buu story is quite crazy, but an interesting one indeed. There was just one day when Majin Buu was just reading this story. I forgot what it was called, but he kind of got inspired by that because seeing all these other races expand, he thought, what if I could go ahead and recreate my own race, but I need to have a significant other. So what he did was he duplicated himself and spawned a female version of himself called Miss Buu, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And they ended up having some kind of gummy bubblegum intercourse or whatever they did, and they spawned their own race. But the only thing about his race is the more they expand, the weaker they get. They're not as strong as he was because after he got separated from the Super Buu and the Kid Buu, he wasn't as strong as he was when he first started because he didn't have those components. So there's not a big similarity between his strength and his offspring's strength.
Well, I didn't know that fact about them becoming weaker over time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the question is, a lot of people have been wondering why in Xenoverse you could only be Fat Buu. So I assume the same is applied because of Dragon Ball Online. In Dragon Ball Online, every male Buu is fat because they get the gene directly from Majin Buu, and for the females, they get it from Miss Buu. So that's where that comes from. That's why you can only be a Fat Buu in that game. But the humans are another one that are greatly affected and impacted because of Z Warriors. Because of Goku and Vegeta's offsprings, and descendants, I guess, they procreate with humans over the course of 216 years, and they actually mix in a lot of blood in the human race. A lot of Saiyan blood in the human race, and that's how the Saiyan gene essentially gets added into the humans, and that's how humans can go Super Saiyan in that age. So the age 1000, everything's changed, and my theory is age 1000 or after 1000 is basically where your character comes from. That's why there's so many different races. That's why there's so many Namekians. That's why so many, like, a variety of everything, and that's where they come from.
Right, and one thing that I think is kind of funny about this new age, you remember like when Goku used to come home with that wife beater and Chi-Chi would be like, Goku, where have you been? You need to go and take these shoes off and get in the shower. And Goku would be like, oh, Chi-Chi, I'll do it later. And he barely taps Chi-Chi and she goes to a tree. I think since, we have more like female singers, we won't be getting that this time around. They can hold their own, they can take a little slap here and there. So I just thought that was interesting.
You know what? It's actually funny because, so this is so ironic. I mean, we know Dragon Ball Online is not part of the Dragon Ball Z story. It's not canon. But like, let's say this is exactly what happened. Years down the line, because we really don't know what happens after the line.
Right.
Goku essentially leaves. Using GT as an example, Goku leaves Earth because he believes that people could come into to Earth because of him. But it's like 200 years down the line, because of the Z Warriors directly. Essentially, Earth becomes a very warrior-oriented race, kind of. Not completely, but there's a lot more warriors on the planet. So because of that, doesn't that like put the future in peril? I guess it does, because that's where Towa Mira come from. Towa Mira come back from the future to break everything because of hey, it's probably because of that.
Yeah,
that's probably it right there.
Exactly.
They send them back in the past because the future is full of warriors. Oh my God, it's obvious. I feel like I just spoiled the Xenoverse story.
It's like a fucking molding pot of Saiyans and shit like that, ready to be destroyed.
Because it's like, I was wondering, why are they attacking the past? It doesn't make any sense. Why, of all things, are they attacking the past?
Yeah.
That makes the most sense.
And another thing that I've noticed about the whole scenario, I think his name is Mira. That's the guy, right? Yeah, the guy Mira, I think he wants to extract Goku's blood and use it too, because you mentioned in one of your videos that he can use the spirit bomb, and that's the main that's the main explanation of why the Namekians are on Earth, because he used the spirit bomb on planet Namek and destroyed it.
Yeah, I remember that in Dragon Ball Online.
Right, and the motherfucker used his henchmen to give him the energy. How cold-blooded is that?
Bruh. Guys, who's watching this video? Look up the story of Dragon Ball Online. It's actually really good. Oh, also I want to point out, before people freak out about this universe, Toriyama was actually directly involved with Dragon Ball Online. Like, he oversaw the whole project, which is funny because Dragon Ball Online was a Korean-based MMO only, and he was so heavily involved with the whole creation of that. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's canon, but it's like Toriyama was there, and he was like, very involved in penning everything, just, working on projects. That's actually exciting. Would you watch a Dragon Ball Online series?
Dude, if they actually came out with an animated adaptation in this time and age, since I am an 80s baby and growing up in the 90s, we didn't really get those video game adaptations to the fullest. They were crappy as fuck, like the Battletoads series.
Yep. Oh my God, I don't even want to talk about that.
In this day and age, I think they will pull that off good, because we got good video game adaptation films. We got a lot of shit going that I would even watch it up in the same style that's presented in the game, with just CG animated. It doesn't really have to be animated to me.
It's funny, a couple weeks ago I was talking about doing, like, if a series came out, would I watch it? And I originally said no, I wouldn't want another series, because I would just be worried that if a new series was introduced, there's a possibility it might be bad, because that's what GT was. GT wouldn't be so hated if it wasn't bad. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But now that I think about it, if Dragon Ball Online was to ever become a series, I'd be happy with it, because it'll be awesome. Because it'll be like a whole nother perspective. It's like we get best of both worlds. We get number one, we get the time travels going back, where we relive essentially the story in better animation, and then we also get the new wave of what happened to Trunks after he went back to the future. What happens in the future? Like, that'd be exciting. That'd be really exciting.
It's like, when I look at Dragon Ball Online, it's kind of like the Marvel and DC kind of universe, where it doesn't matter if it's an interpretation of Dragon Ball Z. It's not going to affect the actual storyline of Dragon Ball Z, because it's its own universe. Kind of like the Marvel universe is, where you have different interpretations of Spider-Man and Superman. That's why I kind of feel like, DB Online is. It kind of kickstart a lot of shit, and other, other series can expand off of that.
The question I have now is obviously Dragon Ball Online won't be completely ripped off in this game, but the question I have is who else might we see from that universe? Because there's Cell X, who is basically another mutated version of Cell, which was supposed to be, what's the story, Cell X?
Well, Cell X is like a new mutated form. Like, I think he's like undergone like a similar experiment, because Mira I think he's half demon, half android, or something like that. So he might be
Yeah.
some kind of half demon, half android cell, or some kind of bio form, like a more organic form of cell, and like something like.
He's on the screen, guys. This is Cell X. Look at him.
Yeah. You see that epic Dookie maker though.
A Dookie maker.
Right. He can probably recreate his self instead of just recreating these Cell Junior turds. You know.
Well, we definitely might see a lot more new enemies from Xenoverse. I don't think Cell X will be in it just because I feel like the fans, like the old fans who grew up with Dragon Ball Z, will be turned off by seeing that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
And another thing to take in consideration, we don't exactly know how big Cell X is. So if he is in the game, he might be a giant boss battle. That's the only way I could see him because he's humongous. You know, he can't be like versatile as the normal Cell could be.
If Cell X was in the game, it could be a side story because there's gonna be a lot of like parallel quests, which is like the side missions.
Right, because like every time I see like Toka or whatever, Towa, she kind of reminds me of Xena from Power Rangers. You remember that old school Power Rangers where that bitch, she was like, I have a headache. I'm getting tired of you Power Rangers. So I'll throw the swan and make my monster grow. Maybe like after, shit doesn't go right because they're pretty much manipulating the villains in the timeline. You see all the villains' eyes turn red and shit is, changed. So what if she were to manipulate Cell and make him grow in a sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. I'm so excited. Like even though we're not getting a new series, well, there's no war about a new series.
Yeah.
What makes me really excited about this game is the fact that we're essentially getting a new series. We're getting a new story.
Right.
And on top of that, we get to live it. We get to be in it.
Exactly.
The best part about this game. That's why I'm so excited about Xenoverse. Like Xenoverse hype is not fake. Like Xenoverse hype is absolutely real.
Yeah,
I can't wait till February.
It can't get no realer than this, man. Like this is like my bitch right here. It's like most of the women over here, they have fake weave, but like Dragon Ball Z and Xenoverse, it's like as real as it get.
It's funny. I was talking to Toasty earlier. It's like what's gonna happen after Xenoverse? Because like Xenoverse 2 can't happen because Xenoverse 1 is literally going to give us anything. Like, what can Xenoverse 2 do better than Xenoverse 1? And then, like, he made a joke of, well, I guess all they can do is do Battle Z2 after this and just, like, go backwards. Well, if you look at it, like, every couple of years, there's always that one really good Dragon Ball Z game, and then it's, like, backwards. And then it's, like, fate restored, backwards.
And, like, I guess it can be a positive thing since that was Art Dink's first game, and maybe they was like, man, we done fucked up. We got to get back to the drawing board and fix this shit.
Here's what I like about Battle Z. I'll say one thing. One thing I love about Battle Z is I feel like Battle Z set the blueprint because Tenkaichi 1 was a terrible game to me.
Yeah.
But Tenkaichi 2 improved so much because the blueprint was already made in Tenkaichi 1.
Yeah.
So I feel like even though Battle Z was a terrible game, if they were to Battle Z 2, I think it could actually be good.
Right.
It could be good. That's potential for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. I feel like, I want the visuals to be like one of the main things that stand out because I know when you play Burst Limit, you've been getting into Burst Limit. Like, you know how the characters, like, just how the actual character model is and how the atmosphere, like, the surroundings are.
Yep.
That's what I enjoyed when I first got introduced into, like, the Tenkaichi series. Tenkaichi 1, it had the potential from the graphics perspective. But, like, when Tenkaichi 2 came out, I picked my nigga Trunks. And that motherfucker's hair was waving in the wind, like, when he moved.
Bruh.
Man.
Bruh.
Oh my god, and that soundtrack though.
Oh my god, Tenkaichi. I think Tenkaichi 2 is the best game out of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I know Tenkaichi 3 has everyone's heart, but Tenkaichi 2 introduced, number one, the better fight style.
Yeah.
And 2, it played better.
It did.
But 3 was a slight improvement. I always see 3 as like Tenkaichi 2.5.
I know. Like, I tell you one thing that I miss about Tenkaichi series. I miss, like when they would be on the ground and like you could like literally just quickly grab their leg and toss them up in the air.
Bro, I'm mad. I'm mad you pointed that out because when I had Tenkaichi 3, I didn't know you could do that until like the last couple weeks I had it. Like, because I played a lot in college. And as I was about to like move and leave, I figured that was the moment. I was so mad. I was like, really? I spent the last 2 years not knowing about this shit.
Oh yeah, man. That game, there was a lot to be explored with that game. But seriously, but back on to the point, man. Like, endless possibilities with the Dragon Ball Online gimmicks put in. A lot of villains that we may have not gotten a chance to see, or probably will get a chance to see up in the future. So the possibilities are endless, guys.
Yeah. And something else I'm gonna say is if you are completely unaware of Dragon Ball Online, look it up. Just type in Dragon Ball Online transformations, Dragon Ball Online Quest, Dragon Ball Online whatever on YouTube, and just watch a couple videos. Like, it's going to give you a lot of insights on the game. Also, if you want to even take a step further, go even beyond. Look up Dragon Ball Online's wiki. It tells you the full story, the kind of like the plot and everything. And that it's not gonna spoil Xenoverse, but it'll give you kind of an idea of what you can expect in that game. Because like, I mean, literally like 90% of Xenoverse came from online.
Oh yeah, most of the designs, all the character concepts. Interesting thing too, like Toriyama, I think he did most of those designs for those characters.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. He was very involved with all, and it threw me off because when I first found out, I was like, really? Why? Of all things to like invest in, why are you like working on a game that no one's gonna get to play? Because remember, Dragon Ball Online was a Korean-based game only. But I will say this: shout out to the team over at Dragon Ball Online Revelations who are rebuilding the game.
Oh yeah.
I don't know much about it. I just know that there's a team that's trying to revive the online series, and they've been working on it for the past year. Whenever that comes out, I'm definitely gonna play it. But it's in the works. I just want to kind of mention that it's happening.
Hells yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have any final parting words that you want to say?
Well, I know this is random, but I always look forward to seeing Frieza's shiny popcorn bowl shoulder pads up in his final form. Like, you know, I think that shit's gonna look beautiful up in 60 frames per second, 1080p HD.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm excited for the game. I'm hyped, and I'm trying to, you know, keep my composure to a minimum. I'm fanboying out right now.
Yeah, right. And of course, when the game comes out, you can expect to get that ass whooping, though, right?
I don't know. I think it'll be the reverse end, like literally.
Dude, I'm mad we didn't get to play in the beta.
I know, it's like I kept on trying to find you guys, like y'all. I don't know if it was just the server errors or I just stayed up.
It was the server because you couldn't switch servers. So to switch servers, you would have to like exit and then like cross your fingers until you get put in the same server.
I was like,
and then I get to the point where it was like. Yeah, like I was trying to get in the same server with Thundershock for like the last couple hours of it. It just would not let me do it because there was like no invite feature in the beta.
Yeah, man, I think we got the worst treatment up in the U.S. because like we had to wait and we still had to like have that game like played within the set timeline that they wanted us to. So we had to wait like hours on end just to get back in.
Yep,
that was fucked up.
Yep. No, it's funny. Somebody actually kept the game on for weeks after the beta ended, and they were actually still able to stream it.
Oh wow.
I think he had it up for a full 2 weeks. He just never turned his PS3 off.
That's dedication.
Because like once you were inside, there was nothing to kick you.
That's crazy. Oh man! So
all right, everybody, thank you for watching. Shout out to thanks for having me. Thanks for doing the video, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're on my channel, make sure you go to RBG's YouTube channel, linked in the description below. Subscribe to him because he makes awesome videos. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you punch that like button right in the balls, both my video and his.
Hells yeah.
And yeah, talk to us, give us feedback, give us comments. Like, let us know what you think about Dragon Ball Online and the whole theory of the crossover happening between Xenoverse and Online. Comment below, and we'll just we'll do the discussion like we always do.
Oh yeah, and if you finish this video, just type in the comments section shiny Dragon Balls.
Shiny Dragon Balls.
I'm gonna test you guys.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, on mine too. If you get to this part, shiny Dragon Balls, just spam it. Spam it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
All right, guys. Peace.